shit, we actually were white kids. That was kind of weird. I feel like there's a big danger though in sort of in sort of pointing this into the culture, instead of like saying like this is just a problem of black culture in itself. I also like there are different sides of like I understand there's this sort of bad tendency to do that, but I also want to note too that black culture is also incredibly vibrant and incredibly constantly changing. I will say also that I'm not sure that blackness in 2014 is different than it was 10 years ago. I feel like 21st century blackness is pretty much like in a large state. But that's only because I like to split things up between specific historical moments instead of just kind of like between decades, I guess. But that's just me. But I mean, but again, I guess that's pretty much why. I just feel like when identity politics just keeps circulating around itself, we don't seem to understand something. So Fanon, when he talks about whiteness and blackness, he misses the understanding that whiteness is labored, blackness is labored, right? This is an understanding that people. This is something that's said in queer communities actually really often. This idea that someone is queered, ed, quote unquote, right? This is the idea that someone is pushed into a box, right? This is understanding that I am in this thing somewhat, but it's the idea that they are pushed there by someone else, and that's the important thing there. And that means that capitalism pushes us into boxes. This idea, again, I want to reference other things other than blackness because it's really helpful. Eve Mitchell used to talk about how in feminism, this is an understanding of gendered labor, that women do reproductive labor in the house and men do productive labor. This is, again, understanding that what makes the woman is defined by capitalism.
Yeah.
So again, this is understanding that making dismantling ideas of capitalism what allows identities to flourish, and not making real capitalist critique circulates identity politics and pushes people in boxes. It tends to quote unquote queer people. I only say that because queer people said that. I don't want to put that out there, but I hear this a lot. This idea of an ED, right? People are queer, people are gendered, people are racialized. And that tends to be a lot of that thing. But I felt the same thing for a long time. I will admit that for a while. And I used to be. They used to call me they used to call me the only smart black kid in high school. That's really fucked up. But that's what they used to call me back then, right? So it's a lot of weird. It's a lot of bad shit like that.
It's weird. I had a similar relation. Like I had like as like the smart girl.
Oh, I didn't know.
Like I had kind of the same experience. So, and that makes me wonder too if there is also this sort of gendered component to this kind of like social disapproval of ambition for non-normative people. That like I demonstrated a masculinized skill of being articulate, being like talented when it came to like rhetorical arts and with writing, and with debate. I was always really good at those things.
Yeah.
And like that was always sort of seen as like just sort of like unusual and marvelous that people would, like be awestruck that I could do those things.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have that many friends, or if I did have friends, it was very unstable. Because, I wasn't, like, gregarious and pretty. I had, like, my nose in a book a lot. And I was argumentative. Like, I was uppity. So, and for, like, a girl to be argumentative, it's like for a girl to, like, not know her place. So, it was... Like, I didn't get fucking dates in high school. I didn't get a date till I was, like, 17. In college.
I didn't get a date till I was 19.
There you go. So, I mean, like, I was really alienated socially for a really long time because I was, like, unusually gifted for somebody who was expected not to be. So it was like, it's the same.
Excuse me, I looked at Twitter and I saw some dumb shit, so I had to talk to it.
Is it her again?
No.
Is it her?
Oh, I
had her blocked for a million fucking years.
I don't know
like,
who this person is. It just says some random Twitter person.
Yeah.
Should I not have said her name or something?
The only... It doesn't fucking matter, who gives a shit. No, but fucking, every time, she pops up, it's never something that I know directly, it's always something that I know because someone else, retweeted something that I said and then they responded to a tweet that other person would say, but then the name would be in there, so I'd be like, oh, they must have said something. Let me take a look and yell at this for 30 minutes.
So is that Jack Kalis?
Who is that?
Yeah.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, he was talking about like how the person
No,
of color label is like problematic and we should all use humans. And I'm just like, that is such a basic understanding of how race works in America and in the world in general. Like, of course we fucking want to be like, no, we don't want to be called people of color, we want to be called humans. But that's not the kind of fucking world we live in right now.
You can't,
Like,
just
it's not like we
arrest
went, oh
someone's
no,
identity
we're
from
black
them.
people, so make sure you call us black people. It's like, no, we did that shit because fucking, what else are, like, it's not like we just kind of woke up and it's like, oh, we're in America. It's like, no, come on, don't be an idiot.
I don't.
You
I
know.
don't even bother.
You know exactly.
Yeah, you can't
right.
wrest people's identities from them.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, so I don't.
Like, you know exactly why that label has to exist. So don't act like you're stupid, because I know you're not.
So.
Can I get a word in here just to respond to a number of things hearing in the conversation?
Never, Austin. You're going to keep playing Dragon Quest forever.
Sorry,
We're doomed
like-
to this for eternity. This is your punishment.
Just wanted to
I want to hear you.
relate some experiences. It's kind of like none of it's contradicting of any of what you said. It's mostly just kind of affirming it. Having been, for example, I have often been the best friend to the only black guy in the high level class. You know, I have often been that guy.
Lol.
Yeah.
LOL.
You know, and it's also and it's well, and the thing about it is I've run into that before, and I basically it's this weird feeling of like wondering what your position is in that, because it's just kind of like you're you know it feels just absolutely wrong to you both, you know, to you know, to try and say to someone who has doubts about their own blackness that they should, you know, about, you know, like suggesting ways that they could get in touch with it or whatever. That just feels like something you should not be doing as a white person, or at least a white person.
Absolutely. Honestly, if you're white and you have something to say about race, like, just don't. Like, there's like, it's not even like you know, you're inherently white, so you don't understand. It's just like, no, it's like you have a different experience to the world that we do. You don't get it. It's just that simple. You don't understand what the experience is like as a person of color in anywhere, really. Like, it's not even just an America thing. It's like anywhere you go, there's going to be some kind of stigma on you one way or the other. And it's like you don't get it because you don't have that experience, because you're not a colored person. You're a white person. This is not your place. Shut the fuck up.
I actually strongly disagree with that. And I've wouldn't say that. I'm interested in the ways that ideas can be communicated and the way people can actually share ideas between people. And I've actually found that a lot of ideas that even I have actually been written by white people, and maybe not even
I don't
other
mean
people. So
literally,
it's
like,
just this idea.
I mean, it's in like a sense that, like, you know, so
I mean,
many people see like a white person talking about race and they go, oh wow, that's really on point, I should definitely listen to that. And they see the colored person say the exact same thing, and suddenly it's like 20 fucking responses of people that are going like, oh well, maybe you're the racist. And it's like, no,
Yep.
What are you doing? Shut up.
that's also a huge problem. Like, who do we choose to elevate and why? Like, they're like the dynamics of like
it's
who
a
do we
matter
choose
of
to listen
giving
to.
voices. It's a matter of talking about like, oh, we love marginalized people, but we're gonna give their voice to the person who's not marginalized, but they're gonna talk about the marginalized.
What was that? Hey,
Good,
TJ.
right? Because they have to be right.
What was that?
Well,
What was
we run
that?
into this kind of problem. Sorry to cut you off, actually.
What was that tweet you retweeted the other day about, like, and this is why I was always bothered by that article, I think, but I could never really articulate it. But
What
that dumb fucking thing where a dude posed as a woman on OkCupid and he's just like, oh my god, this is so horrible, and I'm like,
What?
why didn't you
Yeah, I
listen when
remember.
anybody told you that?
And
You know?
you remember when I was on OkCupid for like a few months, and every single day I'm like, this is actually soul crushing.
Yeah, that
I
was.
did the same fucking thing, and it's like, you know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna get mad.
I think if anything, that proves the exact point that I was just making.
Yeah.
Like, nothing makes me angrier than when I spend like a million hours talking about like dumb racist shit, and then a white person just jumps in and like says the exact same thing that I've been saying, and suddenly it's like, oh my god, I totally get it now. It's like, come on, I'm right here.
Well, 'cause
I'm
here's the
telling
other-
you to your face.
Here's the other thing about that is it's just like that. I would say that's one of the key conflicts of trying to be a smart white person, when just to use the most simplistic possible term, is that you know that when you repeat something that a person of a marginalized person says, you know that you can get other people to listen, but at the same time you have no idea how much value that actually has, because when they're hearing it from you, it's not as valuable. It's inherently not as valuable.
I think those kind of things necessitate being intellectually honest, right? If I say something about feminism and women's experiences, then I know that I can actually cite women who said it, right? There's lots of writing on it. I can just do that, right?
For sure.
If I can
cite your fucking sources if you're gonna.
And this is the thing on anything, especially because Lana and Austin and I, like, we do games criticism as a thing, right? It's like, well, yeah, like if you say a thing or the truth thing is, and you know that something is talking, you could probably say someone else. It's actually really helpful to do that, and it works to do that, and it's an important and valuable practice that actually makes a difference. It honestly makes a difference to actually
It really
do that.
does.
You know,
You know what? I think part of that problem with like the politics of credibility or respectability, that like we tend to focus our attention, or we like focus our like elevation on like certain types of people. I think part of that, like where we vest credibility, has to do with like a fundamental fear and mistrust of marginalized groups.
I think it is subconscious. I do.
Yeah, I think it's a subconscious unwillingness to take those groups seriously, and if you were to take them seriously, it's uncomfortable, because it's like it compromises your own privilege or your own like place in the machinery of those like intersecting factors.
Yeah. So.
So it's easier to pay attention to somebody who is like on level with you. Like, even if that like hegemony is like pretty much unconscious, I think people do it as a reflex.
So I mean, the thing to it actually.
TJ, that was impressive.
I didn't mean to kill the vibe there.
What happened? Oh.
TJ burped.
This is the thing about interesting being on level with me, because I find it actually kind of interesting. I'm interested in the idea of Perla and mentioning the idea of guilt. I think guilt is something that's weird, that circulates a lot, and I'm not actually sure how useful it is. I get, sometimes I'll talk to dudes, and we're talking to dudes, and I'll talk, and dudes will tell me things that they've done in the past that are actually like not that great things, and I'm like, oh, this is really interesting that we're talking about this, because I feel like this person never talked to women about it, because they feel really guilty about it. But it's this idea that almost the idea that you get people who are sort of confessing their sins, right, to others who understand and who listen. Like it's a weird thing.
And they also sometimes I'll get like, guys.
Zolani, you can say that you're talking about me. It's okay.
Well, okay, all right. So I'm sorry. I just didn't want to be.
That's all right.
Yeah. So I've been talking to Austin, right? And Austin's telling me about this stuff that he used to do and things like that, and how he feels kind of bad about it, And I'm sitting there going, yeah, and it's interesting, because it's this thing where it's like I feel like Austin usually is just coming to me because I'm also a dude, right? And being on the same level on a thing, it's like, oh, I can confess my guilt to this person. I can confess my sins to this person. So it's a weird thing. It's odd, but I'm interested in it, and I just wanted to note that, I guess.
I guess I'm being reminded of that piece on like indie guilt.
Yeah, I don't know how useful that was in the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like, here's what I'll say about it, because I want to be diplomatic.
Yeah.
I feel like it was at best incomplete, because it isn't. Interesting question, I guess, but I'm far less concerned about somebody with immense privilege, even if that person is technically nouveau riche. I'm far less concerned about their guilt if that analysis is centered far too much on them as figureheads, and sort of like narrativizing them as like these kind of like success stories.
Yeah, like spokespeople.
Yeah, and one that is not actually kind of explicitly connected to the like deleterious effects of like capital just overall. Because, like, frankly, I don't really care about this like sad, lonely, rich person guilt. Like, like not sitting on a jet plane crying because he's lonely. I don't care, because I have friends. I have friends who are losing their homes. Like, that to me is.
Yeah, I do that shit like once a week, and I don't have any money. Fucking, where's my money?
Yeah.
Well,
like, where's your feature on the New Yorker?
Yeah, where's my article on Gama Sutra?
Where's
Hey,
TJ?
can I just
TJ out the New Yorker. Come on.
can I just
Come on,
throw a
guys.
thesis?
Come
Yo,
on.